Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. It's about 5 after 5, November 2nd, Saturday. Claims to be about 59 degrees out here, and it's lightly raining. Got to start you guys off with a weather report. And my batteries, sun's going down and it's cloudy, so they're not charged.
That was easy.
Woke up today from my nap, and I wanted to put a few moments in on this thing to make it more right. And well, first of all, I put a battery into it. Just going to run the gas out of the carburetor. So I put the battery into it, obviously, starts and it runs. Unfortunately, when you turn off the key, it doesn't turn off. You have to turn it off here. When I hooked the battery up, I just double checked to make sure that with the key off, it doesn't matter where you put this switch, it does not drain the battery. So I wanted to be sure about that because I just put a new battery in it, and homie doesn't want to, donate the battery to stupidity. So obviously, she electric starts, a very good thing. Secondly, I put the bolt on and the washers. I think there's enough light for you to see it. Unfortunately, what you can't see is I can't tighten the bolt all the way up. I don't know if there's enough light to quite. Yeah, you guys could kind of see it, that it's not to the point where the threads, where I can put a cotter pin through it to hold that castle bolt on. So why can't I do that? Somebody had this rear end, oh man, old age. Somebody had this rear end apart before, and when they did, they tightened that bolt too much. I don't think you guys could see it at all, it's too dark. So that bolt is tightened to the point where the cotter pin, where am I here? Anyway, this bolt is tightened to the point where the cotter pin doesn't even come up against it. The bolt is the bolt can loosen like a half a dozen turns before it hits the cotter pin. And this one here, because the axle is shifted too far this way, this one here, I can't even get a cotter pin in. The bolt is over the cotter pin hole. So I'm going to have to loosen that bolt up and straighten the axle out. I'm still running tranny fluid in this thing because I'm trying to clean it up a little bit. But I did run it around, and I didn't beat it through the gears, but I kind of ran it through the gears just to see what kind of shape she's in. And the tranny shifts like a charm. When you go to shift it, it releases the clutch. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with these things. They kind of actually, let me think about this for a moment. Yeah, they kind of use the clutch two different ways. It uses it as a centrifugal clutch as the engine speeds up, the clutch engages, and it also has a clutch that as you shift it, it disengages as you move the lever up or down, and then when you let go of the lever, it re-engages the clutch. That way you can shift it without smashing the gears up. Anyway, both clutches seem to work just perfectly. Obviously, she electric starts. One has to love it when you can walk up to a bike, turn the key, hit the button, and she's running, right? One has to love that. I do have to kind of go through the wiring to figure out why the reverse light here doesn't work and why it doesn't turn off when I turn off the key switch. I did look around the coil here, and they do they have the coil mounted in a strange way, so somebody futzed around with this thing. Given that the plastic has been changed over to Mayer plastic, you can see how the seat's feeling. And all this thing, you know, I described it as not being a virgin, and obviously it's not. But it is going together, and I do like the idea that I can just turn the key, pop it in reverse, and drive it right out of here. I took the seat off of that guy because I was chatting with somebody who had a piece of plastic on their seat. I don't know if it was Caddyman. It might have been Caddyman. Because he had a split in the seat, and the bike must have gotten wet outdoors. And then when you sit down on the seat, you squeeze the foam, and the foam surrenders as moisture, and your pants and underwear absorb that moisture. Then you get to have a wet ass. Homie don't like that. I hate that. I hate having a wet ass. So this one's inside. They did keep it outside where I bought it. It was not covered. It was outside. And I would like to not have a wet ass. So if it's not in here, it'll be undercover somewhere. So the tasks I wanted to get done today: getting a battery in this thing, getting the electric, making sure she's going to electric start, the battery fits. I went through the trouble of putting it in properly so it doesn't bump around and short circuit against the side. You know, don't want to kill a brand new battery. That's good. Obviously it's not tripping gas. It is dripping a little of that transmission fluid, rear end fluid mix out of the fill hole, out of that thing right there. But I deliberately kind of overfilled it so that it would slosh around and move around in there, and hopefully solvent up some of the nastiness. I'm not exactly sure what kind of oil goes in here. It's as simple as an internet question, but I do have to ask the internet that question and figure out if it's 80-90 or just 50 weight motor oil, or what needs to go in here. I wouldn't picture that they're all that fussy. The only thing that they would be a little fussy about is keeping the rocks and grit and sand and so forth out of there, because obviously that's not good for them. Well, running it about, it does move good. The front end's nice and tight, no clicks or clunks. The brake, though the handle is busted here, the front brake does work. The back brake isn't even pretend to hook it up. I do have the shoes, and from the parts inside the garage, I do have the springs. As a matter of fact, I'm curious if that even moves. Yeah, it's hard. Wait a minute. I gotta get the right angle here. Oh, so I don't know if you guys can see this. There you go. And it does appear as if the brake cable does pull. Once again, there are no springs or shoes or anything in there, so that needs to be worked on. Okay, so I'm done. I'm basically done with this, and I have to admit, through my mind is rattling back and forth whether or not I should go to the flea market today. For those of you who are outside the United States, it's daylight savings time. Actually, we give up daylight savings time. So at about 2 o'clock in the morning, right, the clocks progress to 3 and you turn them back to 2. And so you get an extra hour of sleep, which is always good. But that also means, instead of looking out here and saying, I don't know what time it is, saying it's approximately 5 o'clock, 5:16, it's going to be 4:16 starting tomorrow. So it's going to be darker. So the sun will come up a bit earlier in the morning, an hour earlier, but it will also go down an hour earlier at night. This is kind of the dark, I call this the dark time of the year here in the United States. The amount of daylight right where I am varies. It goes down as short as 9 hours, which is kind of sucks in the winter. But then it goes back up to 15 hours in the height of the summer. So 15 hours of daylight's nice. You could get a lot done. 9 hours of daylight, not so nice. And the sun doesn't, obviously in the winter, doesn't come up as high on the horizon, so it doesn't get as warm. And it even though it's 9 hours of daylight, you by the time the sun's up, it's and warm enough to get anything done. It's 9 o'clock ish, and by 3 o'clock ish, you really got to be shutting down for the day if you got things to put away. Anyway, so this is done. Slam myself on the back a few times. I don't think I'm going to the market tomorrow, so there won't be flea market videos this week. I think I really want to get this lawn cart put together, and then get these tents loaded up. The weather is supposed to change over the next couple of days, and by that I mean it's supposed to, tomorrow night it's supposed to be down in the 20s here, which I think for centigrade, I don't know, what's that, -5, -10 centigrade, because it's below freezing. 32 is freezing, so it's minus whatever. So I need to stop fooling around and get more than one tractor in here. Obviously with the wind and all that we've had, those tents did not blow around, which is a good thing. And once again, I gotta stop fooling around and get this crap in a better situation. Okay, guys, I've been babbling for about 12 minutes. Live, love, and have a great time. Remember, tires down, handlebars up, and some days it's best not to go to the flea market. Thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing, folks. Bye.